Welcome to Now Daily. I'm Robert Crawford. Here's what's happening now. The Panama Papers. Everyone's talking about the Panama Papers, and let's dive into what they really are. If you go on CNN right now or listen to mainstream media, NBC, ABC, they're all talking about it. The Panama Papers. They say 7 things to know on CNN. So what's CNN saying? Let's look at this first, since they are the quote-unquote mainstream media. Well, they're kind of saying that the Panama Papers was put out by a group called the International Coalition of Media Outlets. They investigated a trove of papers which allegedly reveal clandestine network involving associates of Russian President Vladimir Putin and business ties between a member of FIFA's ethics committee. And then they move down here to mention the Iceland names for their prime minister. So basically the prime minister of Iceland was named in these papers, or at least that's one of the main names CNN is saying. Why does that matter? Well, we know that Iceland jailed some of the big bankers a few weeks ago. Well, I guess months now. So they're going to throw the president that goes after the bankers under the bus with these papers. So let's dig a little deeper. If I click on this link, I get the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, right? It looks like a professionally managed website. Okay. And if I go in here, this is the Panama Papers section of the site. The whole site is just for Panama Papers. And here's all the partners, all these different companies in different countries. Canada, Pakistan, Puerto Rico, Argentina, Mali, Hungary. Big names in those countries, even some in America. So what's going on with this? What is this? Well, if you start looking around, you realize that that is actually run by the Center for Public Integrity, right? That's the name of it. It supposedly is an independent group. But when you start digging a little deeper, you start realizing that this consortium of investigative journalists, the organization behind the leak, a trip on its webpage reveals its support and funding sources: the Open Society Foundation, the Ford Foundation, and a host of other foundations have been supporting this ICIJ, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, who put out documents, like tens of thousands of documents, blackmailing, illegal, not a lot of people are just storing money into Panamanian companies and accounts to avoid taxes in their home countries, which is pretty standard. Pretty much anyone that's making a good amount of money is going to do that. If you make enough money in France right now, they're going to tax you 100% on that money. So people are leaving the country. They're coming to LA. They're coming to the Virgin Islands. New Zealand's a big one. They're fleeing from this. And to be honest, I think that that's actually a good thing. I think it's the other way around. I think the banker criminals in cahoots with the government are the ones in the wrong. And those are the ones who have released these papers. The Ford Foundation. Let's go on the Ford Foundation's website for a second. You need to understand this, because people say that, the Ford Foundation can't be that bad. Yeah, the Henry Ford Foundation, yeah, he did create the cars that you drive right now. Maybe you have a Ford, but the Ford Foundation is a very separate entity. They formed these things, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, they formed these things to start infiltrating our society and turning us into this one world order where the bankers control everything. That's what they want. They want total control over every aspect of our lives. Oh, and what do they talk about? They talk about Ford Foundation, Black Lives Matter. All these things, women's rights, feminism, all this stuff is coming out of these foundations. And I'm telling you, it's not good. Not saying that inequality is definitely a problem, but these people are causing the divisions, not solving them, is what I'm saying. So according to the New York Times, the Panama Papers goes into people like Vladimir Putin, president of Iceland, who jailed the bankers. Basically, all the people that are against the elite cabal. There are people that own the Federal Reserve. It's a private bank, and we are at a war. It's a silent war going on behind the scenes between the power elites, the people that own the banks, the people that own the Fed, the people that own the World Bank. They've now installed central banks throughout every country in the world except 2 at this moment. That's North Korea does not have a Rothschild-controlled central bank, and Cuba. So Obama goes to Cuba last week. Why do you think they went into Syria? Because they wanted to install the central bank. The central bank is the center of their power. And leaks like this, and then using their controlled media sources like CNN to specifically go after the people that are against them, against this establishment, against this idea of a debt enslavement of the overall population. They are the ones that are targeted. So that's what the Panama Papers are all about. But what would not surprise me is if we start continuing to see disclosure. Things like what's in Hillary Clinton's email. She's talking about really weird things. You have to read those emails. Go on Now Daily, type in Hillary Clinton email, and there's some links to the actual emails on the Department of State website. And there is some really weird stuff in there. Joking around, direct emails to the Rothschilds, joking around about sacrificing chickens to Moloch. Really, really very strange things. And then we have these Panama Papers, and it would not surprise me if it comes out that a majority of Congress and the Senate are actually being blackmailed by other entities, corporations, or even divisions within the United States government itself. That would not surprise me. So continue to see more disclosure like this. This is what's going to happen. But look behind the scenes. Don't trust the mainstream media. Research it yourself. When I started finding out that Soros is behind these foundations, the Carnegie Endowment, the Rockefeller Family Fund, and the Open Society Foundation, these are the elites. So just watch out. Don't let them trick your brain just because it's on TV. This is Now Daily. I'm Robert Crawford. Share this video. Let me know about other important things that are going on that we need to get the word out to.
Thanks for listening. This has been Now Daily with Robert Crawford, uncovering real stories worth sharing. Want more? Visit the website nowdaily.com/show.